Scary mysteries, twisted news, mysterious disappearance of Esther Dingley, and the murder of Sister Abhaya. Terrifying cases of true crime and strange events. Every week, Twisted News dives into two mysterious and scary cases currently happening in our world. This week, we'll tackle the latest developments on the disappearance case of a mountaineer named Esther Dingley and the shocking 1992 murder case of Sister Abhaya. Get ready for Scary Mysteries, Twisted News. Number 1. Disappearance of Esther Dingley. Most people find comfort in routine, each day waking up, going to work, coming home, then going to bed. That, however, was not the case for hiking couple Esther Dingley and Dan Colgate. They found joy and excitement living a nomadic lifestyle, always on the move and never settling in one place. Long before they met at Wadham College, part of Oxford University, Esther and Dan were both fitness fanatics. Finding each other just intensified their love for the outdoors. Between 2014 and 2019, they had been touring all around Europe in their trusty camper van they called Homer. Throughout the 6 years of their rigorous adventures, they hiked hundreds of miles of roads, cycled through long distances, and climbed a number of mountain peaks. In the summer of 2019, Dan returned to his hometown in northeast England to deal with some family matters. His partner, however, decided to continue hiking alone for a month in the Pyrenees, which is a mountain range that divides Spain and France. Then came the spring of 2020 when the COVID-19 virus hit. The pandemic virtually locked everyone down in their homes, and this didn't sit well with Esther. She once again left and hit the road at the end of October 2020. She was alone when she returned for another long hike in the Pyrenees. On November 15th, she and her camper van were seen in the village of Benasque, a town in the province of Huesca, Spain. 2 days later, she climbed the 7,000-foot Angle Oris Refuge. She even posted an Instagram pic showing her in very good spirits. Then came the snow, which forced her to go back to town. A man apparently gave her a lift back to her camper van. All this time, Dan was in Gascony, France, house-sitting a vineyard property. He was waiting to meet her there on November 22nd, so when she didn't show up on November 25th, he reported her missing to the French High Mountain State Police Force, who took immediate action in conducting a search operation for the missing hiker. For 2 long weeks, police, volunteers, dogs, helicopters, and drones combed the mountain range for any sign of Esther. On December 4th, 2020, a heavy snowfall prompted the rescuers to suspend their search, and the halt lowered the chances of finding the missing woman, as her tracks would, by now, be lost in the thick snow. Up to this day, Esther Dingley is still missing, presumably somewhere in the Pyrenees Mountains. The question that hangs now in everybody's mind is what exactly happened to the woman. A foul play angle has been looked into, but police couldn't provide any evidence to pursue on that lead. Experts are now considering the possibility that she may have encountered some mishaps along the way, and if that is the case, then they feared she might not survive the harsh weather. Abduction and possible murder were also being considered, but investigators have yet to substantiate that theory. Dan, on his part, was initially considered a person of interest, but was immediately ruled out considering his circumstances. What's left now is the thought, did she intentionally make herself vanish? Police are working on a new theory that Esther may have done an act they call voluntary disappearance. This theory came up when Dan told them he had been suggesting that he and Esther should finally settle down. Did she run away to avoid letting go of her nomadic lifestyle? If so, then it's only a matter of time before authorities, Esther's family, and friends discover her true whereabouts. Number 2. Sister Abhaya. On March 27, 1992, Sister Abhaya was found dead in a well inside the St. Pius X convent in Kottayam, Kerala. During that time, the Kerala Crime Branch ruled out the death as a case of suicide. However, that didn't bode well with the public. They accused the police officials of mishandling the case and protested to the High Court of Kerala to reopen the investigation. In 1993, the case was eventually turned over to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Unknowing to them, it would take 27 years of cover-ups and lies before the truth was finally unraveled. From 1993 to 2008, CBI officers submitted 3 reinvestigation reports. The first was released in 1996, and it stated that there was no clear evidence to support the theory of suicide. However, neither was there any evidence of foul play. The second and third reports, released in 1999 and 2005, both stated that Sister Abhaya was murdered, based on another medical inspection of the victim's body. But these findings didn't lead anywhere, as they could not identify the possible perpetrator of the crime. It wasn't until 2008 that the CBI was able to bring in 3 persons of interest. They were Father Thomas M. Kotor, Father Josie, and Sister Sephi. The latter happened to be a resident in the same convent as the victim. In November of that same year, authorities arrested the 3 aforementioned individuals and charged them with murder, destruction of evidence, and defamation. The same charge sheet revealed some of the most horrifying details of the crime. In it, it says that around dawn on March 27, 1992, Sister Abhaya woke up to prepare for an exam. She was on her way towards the convent's kitchen to grab some water when she found Father Thomas, Father Josie, and Sister Sephi in what was described in the court to be a compromising position. Sister Sephi panicked at the sight of Sister Abhaya, and in the spur of the moment, she grabbed an axe and hit the victim in the head with it. The 3 of them then carried the unconscious nun to the well and threw her in, where she eventually drowned. After that charge sheet in 2008, it still took a couple more years before the final verdict was given. On December 22, 2020, Father Kotor and Sister Sephi were given life in prison for the death of Sister Abhaya. Father Josie, on the other hand, was acquitted, as there was not enough evidence to prove he was involved in the murder. But the question on everyone's mind now was, why did it take so long to solve the case? Could it be that the police officials, as well as some witnesses, were trying to protect the guilty? These questions came about when it was discovered that crucial pieces of evidence had been altered during the initial investigation. The evidence pointed at murder, as Sister Abhaya's veil and slippers were found scattered on the floor, implicating she had been carried away. Another discovery involved K.T. Michael, the superintendent in charge at the time. He was said to have tampered with the victim's diary to hide information. There was even one man named Adeka who witnessed something suspicious before the night of the murder. He said he was attempting to rob the convent when he saw 2 priests in the vicinity that was solely devoted to women. Adeka made this testimony in 2009, 17 years after the incident took place. Also, there were several testimonies indicating that Father Kotor and Sister Sephi had a sexual relationship. Those testimonies, however, were mysteriously scratched off. All these discoveries unveiled more and more lies and cover-ups for the guilty party, but all the charges against the high-ranking police officers were dropped as there was not enough evidence indicating that they intentionally hid away pieces of evidence and witnesses to protect the accused. In response to all that, the Catholic Church in India argued that the verdict is unacceptable and unbelievable. The religious institution further said that the 2 convicted still have the right to contest the decision and prove their innocence in a much higher court. So they were 2 of the most mysterious and disturbing stories around. The world can be a crazy place, and Twisted News is sure to show you why. If you enjoy watching this video, then please subscribe to our channel. We have several new videos coming out every single week for you guys to check out. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.